My wife, Olivia, was photographed kissing a stranger, naked, after being potentially drugged by her best friend. I'm Ethan, 31, and I'm currently sleeping on the couch, unable to look at the woman who shares my daughter. For 8 years, I thought our marriage was built on trust and love, but a 3-day girls-only vacation revealed a version of her and a level of betrayal I can never unsee. We were solid. 8 years together, 5 married. We have Chloe, she's 5, and she's the best part of my life. I remember her laugh right before Olivia left for the trip. That sound is my emotional anchor now, the noise of the peace we had. We had a normal life, a stable life. I never thought we'd be this couple. Everything was built on trust, you know? Now I feel like the whole foundation is just gone. I need to know if I'm crazy for walking away. If this story is hitting you, if you connect with what I'm saying right now, please subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Tell me in the comments, where has this confession reached you? Just tell me I'm not the only one feeling this empty. I wasn't blind to everything, I guess. It started with Laura, Olivia's best friend. She'd gone through a really bad divorce. Her ex-husband got the kids, and Laura was visiting them, not living with them. Olivia was always telling me how depressed Laura was, how lost. So when Laura invited Olivia on this girls-only vacation, I thought, okay, this is good. Olivia needs to be a good friend right now. She needed to support Laura. I wanted her to go. I wanted her to have fun. I never thought Laura's pain would become the poison in my own life. That's what it was, right? A poison, a nasty one. So I played the supportive husband. I told her, go, have fun, you deserve it. I even helped her pack. She was excited. It was just a 3-day trip, Friday to Sunday. When she got back late that Sunday, I remember thinking there was this acrid smell of stale perfume coming from her luggage. It wasn't the way she normally smelled. I asked her about the trip, and she was already uncomfortable. I tried calling her late Saturday night, and she didn't pick up. She just gave me a vague, quick explanation. I let it go. I didn't want to be the controlling guy. I wish I hadn't let it go. That lie was the first little crack, the first sign of the dark things I didn't see. That Saturday night, I tried calling her. Nothing. It went straight to voicemail. I didn't worry too much then. I figured they were just out having a wild time. I thought, it's a girls' trip. Let her have it. That was my mistake. That silence was the foreshadowing, the hint of what was actually happening. I remember thinking, she'll call me back later. She never did. I know now that while I was waiting for her to call me, she was already somewhere else. That call I missed, that call she didn't answer, that's when my marriage died. I just didn't get the death notice until 6 months later. She came back late, on Sunday, very late. I was still awake, trying to pretend I wasn't worried. She looked tired and maybe a little sick. I tried asking about the trip, but she shut down right away. She was visibly uncomfortable, like she was reading off a rehearsed script about the beach and the food. When I asked about the phone call, she gave me some weak excuse about bad reception, and I just let it go. I remember the silence in the house after that. Heavy. I didn't want to fight, so I dropped the subject completely. That was the last time she was completely honest with me. And even that wasn't the full truth. I should have pushed. After the trip, she started acting so weird. For weeks, she was extra nice, too nice. She kept saying how much she loved me, how I was an amazing father to Chloe, the best husband ever. It was like love bombing. She was always trying to be near me, touching my arm, bringing me coffee. I didn't hate it, but it felt fake. It felt like she was trying to paper over something huge, some big gap that had opened up between us. She was overcompensating, trying to convince herself that nothing had changed by telling me how good everything was. The weirdness just got louder. Then there were the crying spells. She wasn't just over-the-top nice, sometimes she was just completely broken. I found her sitting alone in the dark kitchen late one night. She was just quietly crying. I asked her what was wrong. Was it work? Was it Chloe? Was it Laura? She wouldn't give me a straight answer. It was always, I don't know, or I'm just tired. The distance between us grew bigger. I knew something awful had happened on that trip, something she couldn't tell me. It made the silence in the house feel heavy, crushing us both. But I still couldn't have guessed the truth. I think I mostly forgot about the trip. 6 months passed. It was like we fell back into our routines, our stable life with Chloe. I pushed the weird crying and the over-niceness out of my mind. I told myself it was just stress, or maybe Laura was getting better and Olivia was just finally relaxing. We were okay. We were normal. I genuinely thought we were back to where we started. I thought the bad part was over. I didn't know that the problem wasn't over. It was just waiting for the right moment to hit me all at once. I was living in a quiet house, but a bomb was already planted there. The bomb went off last weekend. I got a message from Mark. He's the husband of one of Olivia's friends, not a close friend of mine, just an acquaintance. He invited me to a group chat. It felt totally random, just a normal text. I opened it, and there it was. Mark didn't say anything. He just dropped a huge batch of photos into the chat. At first, it was just pictures of them having fun on the beach. Normal stuff. I was confused why he was sending them. Then I scrolled down. That's when the innocuous text turned into a bomb. The pit in my stomach just opened up. The first few photos were fine, just daytime beach shots. Then they started getting drunk. The photos showed them laughing, then stumbling a little. You could see the sun going down, and the mood shifted. They were visibly wasted. Then the guys showed up, shirtless men just kind of lurking near them. The photos start to get worse fast. They're leaning into the men, letting themselves be held. The clothes are still on, but it's clear where things are going. I remember just staring at Olivia in those pictures thinking, this isn't her. But it was. It was right there in front of me. Undeniable. It was the warning sign before the real damage. The photos got much, much darker. The group moved from the beach to some expensive house nearby. In those new photos, the men were getting physical. I saw pictures of them groping the girls. The worst part? The girls looked like they were totally okay with it, even encouraging it. But they were so drunk. They looked completely unaware that they were even being photographed. It wasn't just a party anymore. It was an invasion. I was staring at my wife letting some guy put his hand on her, and she looked like she didn't care. That image alone was enough to make me sick. Then I scrolled one more time. That was the picture that broke everything. They were kissing. My wife, Olivia, was kissing some random shirtless guy I'd never seen. Her bikini top was off. They were completely locked up, and she looked like a stranger, like a completely different person I didn't know. The feeling hit me instantly. It was not just sadness or anger, it was a physical wave of nausea. I wanted to vomit. That image, that sight of her like that, is burned into my mind. I can't unsee it. That visual shock became the insurmountable wall between us right then and there. I stared at the photos for a long time. I was just trying to process the raw, ugly fact of what I was seeing. Then I saw the thing that clicked everything into place. The girls were all either topless or close to it, completely out of it being photographed. All of them, except one. Laura, Olivia's best friend, the divorced, depressed one. It didn't take a genius to figure it out. Laura was the one holding the phone.
She was the one taking the creepy pictures of her friends being taken advantage of. I asked Mark where he got them, and he wouldn't tell me. But I knew. I knew Laura did this. I had to confront Olivia. I showed Olivia the phone. I didn't even have to say anything. She looked at the screen, saw the pictures, and immediately broke down, full-on sobbing. She didn't deny it, didn't try to lie, she just collapsed. I asked her what happened. Just that. And she started telling me everything she knew. I could see the panic in her eyes, the real fear. For a moment, the woman I married was back, but she was trapped inside this nightmare. It was like I was watching her confess to a crime she only half remembered. The silent suffering from the last 6 months finally pouring out. Olivia started talking fast, trying to explain everything. She said it was Laura, always pushing them to drink more. She said it was Laura who was talking up the men, saying they were harmless and fun. They were charming, I guess that's what Olivia said. They all started drinking way too much, way too quickly. Olivia admitted she felt pressured, like Laura was making them all speed through the night. It felt like she was trying to shift all the blame onto Laura, but the words still hurt. It made the whole night sound planned, like a cruel game that only Laura knew the rules to. Then she dropped the real bomb. She said when they got to the guy's house, the men gave them this drink. She called it a homemade cocktail. She said everyone drank it, and immediately things got blurry. She believes they were drugged. It makes sense, given how quickly they all lost control. That homemade cocktail is the whole problem, the symbol of the poison that ruined us. If she was drugged, that changes things, right? But the picture is still there. She still kissed him. It creates a blurred line. Was it coercion, or was it a choice she didn't realize she was making? It's impossible to tell. Olivia said she remembers kissing the guy. She remembers going upstairs but having trouble walking. She woke up the next morning, naked, in a strange room, but she has no memory of the actual act. None. A complete memory void. That's the scariest part. She couldn't tell me what happened, only what she didn't remember. She was sobbing, saying, "I don't know, Ethan, I don't remember." She was pleading for me to believe she didn't choose this. I wanted to believe her. But the image of her face with that stranger, that image is so clear and real. Her memory is blank, but mine is full of that picture. I asked her how she felt afterwards. I asked her about the day she came home, that Sunday. She paused, looking down, and said something that cut me deeper than the kissing picture. She said, "It felt weird. Like I didn't forget about it. I just didn't care." Not that she was ashamed, but that she was emotionally empty. That lack of feeling, that absence of remorse about the stranger, that's the real damage. The physical cheating hurt, but that cold, emotional flatness, that's what destroyed the core of our life. It showed me a total disregard for what we had built. She told me about the next morning. She woke up, realized she was naked, and panicked. Everyone did. They were all scrambling, quickly getting dressed. She said there was this frantic, silent rush to leave the house. They didn't talk about it on the ride home. There was this shared, collective decision to bury the whole thing and pretend it never happened. That explained the look on her face when she came home, the guilt and the fear. The acrid smell of stale perfume I noticed on her luggage suddenly made sense. They all agreed to keep the awful secret. I couldn't share the bed with her. I couldn't look at her without seeing the picture. So I moved to the guest room. It was like we instantly started a marriage quarantine. We existed as roommates, nothing more. We barely made eye contact. The intimacy was destroyed right away. The memory of Chloe's laugh before the trip kept ringing in my head, a painful reminder of the peace we lost. Now the house was just silent and heavy. We were just two people living in the same building, hiding from each other, waiting for the other shoe to drop. The silence was worse than any screaming fight. The hardest part is Chloe. She's 5. She notices everything. She walked into the living room the other day and just looked between us. She asked, "Mommy and Daddy, why aren't you hugging anymore?" That hit me so hard. I had to instantly put on this fake smile and say, "We're just busy today, sweetie." We have to act normal for her, maintain this painful public facade. We're breaking apart inside, but we have to keep the happy family picture up for her sake. It hurts to lie to her, but that memory of her pre-trip laugh is the only thing I'm trying to protect now. Olivia kept coming into the guest room begging me to forgive her. She would cry and say, "Please, Ethan, I wasn't myself. I truly believe they drugged me. That wasn't me, that was the drug." She needed me to believe that she was a victim, that the woman in that picture wasn't the mother of my child. I could see the desperation in her face. She kept repeating it, hoping if she said it enough, it would become the only truth. But I kept seeing the picture, and I kept remembering her saying she didn't care. I brought up Laura. I asked why she, the supposed best friend, was the only one in the pictures who was still dressed and standing. Olivia quickly confirmed my suspicion. She told me all the girls cut Laura off completely as soon as they got home. They all knew Laura was the one who pushed the boundaries, who insisted on the reckless drinking, who brought the men into the group. Olivia said Laura was essentially the person who orchestrated the whole sick night out. That gave the homemade cocktail confession more weight. It felt like confirmation that Laura had a serious problem, and she hurt everyone. I had to ask the big question. Why did Laura take those pictures, and why did she send them to Mark? If she was a victim too, she wouldn't have done that. Olivia just looked blank. She truly had no answer. She just shook her head and cried harder. Her silence said everything. Laura didn't take them as a memory. She took them to hurt people, to blow up other couples. It was a malicious act, a final piece of evidence that this whole thing was orchestrated by someone who was broken and cruel. Laura wanted us to hurt just like she did during her divorce. I asked the question I had to ask. If you believe you were drugged, if you believe you were assaulted, are you going to the police? I thought she would say yes immediately. It was the only way to get justice. But she just looked at me with this firm, terrified look and said, "No." Just like that. No hesitation. She said she couldn't handle the shame, the attention. That no was a huge obstacle. It meant that this whole terrible truth, the drugs, the man, the picture, it would all stay locked inside our house. The injustice felt massive. I couldn't just take Olivia's word for it, even with the pictures. I started calling the other husbands, the ones whose wives were on the trip. I didn't show them the photos, but I asked them what their wives said about the weekend. Every single story matched perfectly. Laura was the one pushing the drinks. Everyone had a blackout. Everyone woke up with a horrible headache. It confirmed the timeline and the story about the drugs. They all had the same awful experience. So the women weren't lying about the core events. The facts started to line up. But the truth in my heart wasn't fixed. The facts didn't matter anymore. It didn't matter if Laura was the bad guy. It didn't matter if a drug was involved. It didn't matter that the other wives had the same story. What mattered was the image on my phone. The image of my wife kissing a stranger. I kept getting that horrible, nauseous, want-to-vomit feeling whenever I closed my eyes. That visual shock was too much. The picture superseded the truth. Her being a victim didn't erase the look on her face. It was the final, cold conclusion. I couldn't look past that photograph. It was over. I finally said it. After all the facts, the tears, the silence, and the nausea, I looked at her, and I heard myself say, "I want a divorce." It wasn't loud, it was just final. I watched the last bit of hope drain out of her eyes. It was the point of no return. 8 years, Chloe's childhood, all the stability we built, it all came down to those 4 words. I knew I couldn't fix this. I couldn't unsee the picture. The only way forward, the only way to protect what little peace we had left for Chloe, was to shatter the marriage completely. When I said I wanted a divorce, Olivia got angry. Not crying angry, but raging angry. She called me cruel. She said, "How can you be so cruel after everything I've told you?" But I was done being the supportive husband. I had the sharpest, coldest line ready. I said, if I was cruel, I would have told her to go back to that shirtless guy and cry to him. The moment the words left my mouth, the room went silent. I saw the true impact of the breakup. The cruelty I felt was real, but it was just a response to the pain she caused. She didn't stay long after that. She screamed at me, packed a small bag, and walked out the door. Her last words were full of rage. She yelled that I had no idea what she went through. I just stood there, holding the printouts of the divorce papers. The house was finally totally silent. I was alone, and I felt nothing but a hollow emptiness. I looked at the papers, and the memory of Chloe asking why we weren't hugging came back. I felt like a monster. I just kept asking myself that one painful question. Am I the asshole for walking away?